Good evening, Red Star Rebels. It's June 27th, 2023. This is Podcast Season 3, episode number 13, lucky number 13. And we are Red Star Report. I'm Hal Lohr, and this is Voices for the California Nation. For tonight's Red Star Report, I'd like to spend some time on some of the discussions going on around and inside the California independence movement's political party, the California National Party. Granted, I'm not sure whether this will end some conversations or start some conversations, but either way, the end result will hopefully bring some clarity. First off, to put things in perspective, the California National Party is the only political party of not only the California independence movement, but also the true California resistance to the U.S. Red Star Report, as the media voice of the California independence movement, has been saying these things for almost 3 years now. 3 years waiting for Californians to realize that the Democratic Party, the Libertarian Party, the Revolutionary Communist Party, the Democratic Socialist Party, the Green Party, and even the Peace and Freedom Party, any and all of them really, for all their talk about change or even revolution, are still just U.S. political parties trying to fix an impossibly broken America. Only the California National Party has embraced the facts that the United States and its entire American socioeconomic system are culturally and constitutionally beyond redemption, and remaining part of the U.S. means never-ending subjugation of Californians to America's rigged system, making the California National Party the only political party not willing to throw 40 million Californians under the bus if it fails to change the U.S. status quo. Since its inception, the overarching dream of the California National Party has been of a free and independent California nation that can defend and preserve California progressive values as California takes its rightful place among the world's nations. The problem has been getting Californians who spent their entire lives being exploited or ignored by Washington, D.C., that they were somehow just like the rest of Americans, to understand this. But in 2016, when Donald Trump won the presidential election, the idea of California secession exploded onto the national consciousness, and the American political situation has gotten much worse since then. As of today, we are about 17 months from the November elections in 2024, and regardless of the results, the division and desperation in America are going to get worse. Californians already know that if the Republicans win the presidency, nightmare-level cruelty and oppression of sweeping socioeconomic Christo-conservatism are already the plan. We've seen this already snaking through state and local legislation across red state America. If the Democrats retain the presidency in 2024, then a cold civil war is guaranteed at least. With militia violence and right-wing media outrage fueling fascist America's rage and setting the stage for the election cycles in 2026 and again in 2028 to make the divides in America feel like a fight for survival. For the California National Party, this means a revitalized interest in a California secession movement will explode into the political consciousness over the next 18 months to 5 years, fueled by fear and futility as Californians watch the Democratic Party repeatedly fail to fight American Christo-fascism while it beats down what we hold as California progressive values, first in the states and then at the federal level. The goal of the California National Party is to be established and ready when this happens. Established in media messaging with groups like Red Star Report, the Free the Bear podcast, and more. Working informative and inspiring websites, Facebook pages, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok accounts with links for donations and CNP swag. And a party newsletter detailing California National Party events, chapters, and platform issues. Ready with a current and easily accessible and downloadable party platform. And at least regional, if not local, California National Party chapters across California. The idea being that as California outrage and frustration against the direction America is going grows to the point of intolerable over the coming election cycles, the California Independence Movement's party, the California National Party, needs to appear as a ready, able, and growing alternative to all the other parties on the left who have already failed to protect Californians from an increasingly hostile United States. As we've said from the beginning, the California independence movement has worked to make the argument in favor of an independent California republic. But the modern reality is that we as a movement have already accomplished that goal. What is needed now from California's Independence Party, the California National Party going forward, is the infrastructure and political motion to give Californians something solid as an alternative to the dark future devouring America. This is Voices for the California Nation.
Hello. Being an activist on the streets can sometimes be a grueling, thankless, and often dangerous situation to be in. And it sometimes doesn't always yield the outcome you desire. But what does have a direct cause and effect relationship is a beach cleanup. Just 5 minutes on the sand, picking up debris can yield almost 1 pound of garbage that collects here on our beaches. The CNP is dedicated to a clean and sustainable California and hosts beach cleanups like this one statewide every week, once a month. The CNP joins dozens of other groups on the beach to help clean and preserve California. In just 1 hour of cleanup can do wonders for the environment and the wildlife. Check out californianational.party to volunteer for your local beach cleanup. Thank you.
Next up, we go to Shankar Singam with Activism in Action, and he gives you a glimpse of how the American military works to indoctrinate California's children.
How are you doing, my Red Star rebels and renegades? Welcome to another episode, Activism in Action. So I am just fresh off of the LA Pride Parade that happened. That's probably still happening right now. And God, I just feel renewed, reinvigorated, strengthened. I have full faith in the people of this great state here, because there is no way that a fascist Nazi GOP is ever getting their way or setting foot or planting their stupid fucking flag in this state. I can guarantee you that, folks. There's just no way. The amount of sheer people that were out today, and the corporations that were out today showing support and backing, and the governments that were out today showing support. I just don't see it. I don't see how the fascists and their anti-LGBT, anti-women stance can even get a foothold here in California. Not after what I've seen today. And all I can say to the right wing is, you know what, bring it right now. And enough of these games that you're playing right now. I mean, with Bud Light and Target. I mean, come on. If you try anything here, you will get a severe beatdown. That is for sure. As we saw in Glendale last week, you guys decided to come out and make a little and start whining and complaining about I don't know what, banning books or something. Come and try and ban a book in California, please. Ban a book in California, because we will show you what we showed your friends in Glendale, which was a massive beatdown by parents, by teachers, by law enforcement, by other gay people. You guys got your asses kicked, and that's what will happen every time you try that bullshit here. This is California. This is not the United States. So take your shit back to the Midwest and keep it there, okay? If you've been listening to me the past few weeks, then you already know what I've been espousing about this three-front attack by the white supremacy GOP. It's abortion, LGBTQ, and guns. And as time placates abortion and guns, their current attack against the LGBTQ is in full effect, right? And that's what I'd like to address tonight. But before I even get into that, I want to talk about the guns part real quick, because this last Memorial Day, I was out at the USS Iowa for the festivities, and it was such a nice day, and the military and the law enforcement all had their newest toys out on display for the public to behold, and it seemed as if the military were in full recruitment mode. Aside from all the helicopters and boats and gigantic jeeps and cannons for everyone to see, they were in full recruitment mode. I saw, enlisted guys, or at least, Marines, speak to young men candidly about signing up, just as they were walking by. Just talk to them about the military, try to get them to sign up. But this slow indoctrination of violence through military hardware is probably nothing new to the average high schooler in a JROTC program. But I think the military is yearning to build its troops and recruitment up, so it's targeting kids much younger for a longer soak time of romancing violence, right? I'm about to show you some pictures of some video that I took. I'd like to warn you right now, these images may be disturbing to some. Please be wary of what you're about to see. So these are pictures that I took at the USS Iowa, and 16 far too old as a viable target for recruitment. Here is a trained military sniper showing this 12-year-old how to properly position and sight a target with an M40 sniper rifle, and the proper distance to place the sight for a 7.62 cartridge for its flight and reach its intended target. Notice the proper stance. But shooting is only half the work for a sniper. They must stay invisible, and as you can see with this little girl here in a full ghillie suit, also with an M40 rifle. And if the M40 just doesn't have enough punch, you can always step it up to a 50 caliber M82, as this 5th grader is demonstrating. But why stop at 12 years old? The military needs them young and brainwashed as to not question orders, and this 3-year-old all of a sudden doesn't feel like he's the smallest person in the room anymore. Not behind an M40 with his little fingers just strong enough to pull that hair trigger. The rifle is just a tad bit taller than the lad, but I'm sure the trigger is much weaker than his hand pull. And this is as blatant as you can get as far as recruiting the young into violence. Never mind the school shootings, which happens to be the #1 killer of our children under 18 years old. Ignore that. Let's teach them how to shoot at a younger age, because we need them to die for the country, not die for your local school. There it is, folks. That is your military, U.S. military, indoctrinating its young. I felt nauseated. As soon as I saw the 3-year-old, I made a beeline to the exit. I just couldn't take it anymore. But it's out there, folks. This is what's happening right now. This is the U.S. This is the U.S. gearing up for a war. I think, hopefully, it looks like China to be the intended target and enemy. And there's just no way we're going to win a war with China, folks. You're talking about 1 billion people. Far more technologically advanced. So if we do go to war, learn to speak Cantonese or Mandarin. Get Babbel. It's very easy to learn language through Babbel, especially Mandarin. Yeah. And war with China definitely would equal a draft. So you may want to be take the forward approach to this whole thing and have your kid practice with a rifle as this 3-year-old was doing this last Memorial Day. Okay? So that's what I got to say about the military and guns right there, right? Very, very sexy guns. Let's get back to it here.
Thank you, Shankar. In a word, it's disgusting. Has anyone else out there wondered how many California kids would be alive today if Californians were not tossed into the meat grinder of American militarism? Young people who never got the chance to really live because the American military filled their heads with nonsense, that dying for corporate profits, a political ideology, or a non-existent God was a noble waste of human life. California blood for U.S. imperialism. Yeah. Disgusting. Let's keep this rolling. It's time for talking points. This is Talking Points. Sorry to burst bubbles, but the enemy of my enemy is not always my friend. That means that even though the California independence movement is by its very nature not pro-United States or its government, it doesn't necessarily mean the movement supports every anti-American dictator on the planet. Or, to be more precise, Vladimir Putin is a global asshole who doesn't care about 40 million Californians, so why does he deserve a moment's thought? We know as a California progressive values-based movement that some well-meaning hard-left Americans who see the U.S. government as their true enemy for some reason want to embrace self-serving Russian oligarchs as kindred spirits. But with all the media chatter about Russia going on in the non-stop media cycle, let's drag this week's talking point out into the cold light of day, bumper sticker its talking point, and own it once and for all. Let's pull its teeth so the California independence movement can speak the truth while wasting as little effort as possible. Because there's an old saying in politics that goes, it's not the crime that gets you, it's the cover-up. So everyone in our hashtag new CalExit needs to tell the truth. The real California independence movement doesn't like Vladimir Putin, and for good reason. Talking point. During the 2016 election cycle, there was an organization called Yes California created by Russian assets in California to delegitimize and subvert the California independence movement as a tool to damage U.S. credibility. They were greasy slick with a lot of dark money and got a lot of media attention, and in the end did a lot of damage to the legitimacy of the real CalExit movement that at the time was polling close to 45% of Californians being not opposed to the idea of California's peaceful secession. Yes, California was led by people that were not actually from California, pretending to lead the California independence movement even after one of their Russian assets actually moved to Russia. And by the time infighting had caused Yes California to finally implode as an organization in 2021, most of them ended up under some degree of FBI investigation. So yeah, the real California independence movement, the true California resistance, are not big fans of Putin or Putin's Russia, and justifiably so. And do me a favor, before any Russian apologist out there rolls their eyes and tries to dismiss me as part of some Russian political interference hoax, I was there, saw it. Sorry. It's taken 5 years to begin to rebuild after Russian interference trashed the independence movement's credibility, crushed all fundraising efforts, and caused the California independence movement's organizations to bleed memberships. To this day, many people in the movement still find themselves having to victim-splain that 40 million Californians shouldn't have to be denied the right to live in a free and independent California republic just because of that Moscow midget's interference. And for what? A few political points with the MAGA crowd? Because the sad part here is that for all the hype, Russia isn't even in the same league as the state of California. California is the 5th largest economy on Earth. Russia is the 9th. The day California becomes its own country, it would replace Russia in the G8 and relegate their delegates to the kiddie table in the UN. California would step onto the global stage a stable, peaceful, prosperous, diverse, tolerant, neutral, and environmentally sound superpower with no national enemies. Truth. If a free and independent California can stand on its own without the United States, why would we even need anything from Vladimir Putin's Russia? So, yes, there was a group out there called Yes California that acted as foreign assets trying to sell out the California independence movement. But those people who just wanted to use the movement as a Russian tool were not really the leaders of the California independence movement like the media tried to say they were. And it would be a tragedy if their illegal actions meant that 40 million Californians can be denied that right to live in a free, independent California republic just because of that. This is Talking Points. That's podcast number 13 of our 3rd season. For more information on Red Star Report, check out our website at redstarreport.com. Please subscribe to our Red Star Report YouTube channel, go to our Red Star Report Facebook page, Twitter page, and Instagram page, and give us a like. Give us a follow. Because if you want to support the real California independence movement, hashtag New CalExit Media Group, It's all about the algorithms. And seriously, click that link below and pledge support for our friends at listener-supported radio KPFK 90.7 FM Los Angeles, because KPFK deserves your love and support too. They put us on. Our thanks to you and all our Red Star Rebels for watching. We are Red Star Report.